Today, we do have plenty of examples of how we are utilizing our cultural heritage in creating the tourism product that we have.
Tejarah Talks.
Hi, I'm Shabib Al Maamari and welcome to Tejarah Talks, Oman's premier business podcast. From green manufacturing to Gen Z and the creative industries, we explore the exciting trends and game-changing ideas that are shaping our business community. Today, we've joined by His Excellency, Azzan Al Busaidi, Undersecretary, Tourism, Ministry of Heritage and Tourism, and Engineer Saeed Al Shanfari, CEO, Oman Convention and Exhibition Center. Thank you both for joining us in Tejarah Talks 2024.
Over the past 10 years, Nautil has worked on some of Oman's most important digital transformation projects, including the InvestEasy portal and the Omani Census 2020. We've also been committed to developing local entrepreneurial talent through our Oman Talent Hub. With digital transformation playing a key role in Oman's Vision 2040, we're excited to see what's next for the country and how we can continue to be part of its journey.
And let's start by highlighting something very important, fresh off the boat, as they say. We just came back, the three of us, from the biggest show in the world, ITB Berlin 2024, with Oman was at the center stage as the host guest country. If you can reflect, please, on your participation. Oman being the host country, what does that mean? What are the different opportunities, different leads created? And your personal experience within the biggest show that is attended by over 100,000 people, 100 countries that participate. If you can start, Your Excellency.
Yeah. I think this was a great opportunity for Oman to showcase its capabilities in tourism in what is supposed to be the largest tourism and travel show in the world. ITB has been there for the last, I would say, 57, 58 years. And for the first time ever that Oman has been the host country in this fair. It gave Oman the opportunity to not only showcase its capabilities in terms of tourism, what it has to offer, how does the tourism product look like, but it as well gave the opportunity for the industry here in Oman to create stronger links and ties that would definitely impact, from an economic point of view, it will impact the tourism sector right away. It is believed that host countries immediately experience a 15 to 25% growth in the tourism sector right after they become host countries in ITBs.
And is this show for large organizations, Your Excellency, or is this a real opportunity also for small, medium, local entrepreneurs to
I think if we look at the number of participating organizations in the Oman Pavilion, we had around 70 of them. I would say a significant amount of them were actually small and medium-sized enterprises. Some were even supported by either Riyadh or the Chamber of Commerce to be participating over there. And I believe that this means that smaller companies could as well benefit, perhaps at a larger extent than larger ones.
And then what are we looking forward now, moving after ITB? What's the aspiration after ITB from a sector perspective for the ministry itself and for the sector itself?
In alignment with achieving the Oman Vision 2040, the sector looks at achieving larger number of tourists or tourism arrivals. It would as well try to achieve greater amount of investments in the tourism sector. And most importantly, the commitment towards achieving its priorities, either in terms of sustainability or local community engagement, or cultural showcasing of every single aspect that makes up the tourism product in Oman, including culinary. For the first time ever, the ministry had a section related to the culinary arts. And I believe that was the center stage of Oman's participation in the exhibition.
Excellent. Engineer Saeed, is it your first time, I think, in ITB? Your reflection, what did you think of the show? And then from an industry perspective, MICE industry, if you can reflect, please.
So indeed, it's actually my first time attending the ITB. ITB is mainly focused at the leisure side of the tourism, but it's a great platform for connecting everyone. Connects a lot of countries, corporates, SMEs, as you mentioned. It's a good platform to exchange, show capabilities, and having Oman as a host country was a unique opportunity. I think the exhibition itself, ITB, is over 57 years, and Oman now is in the center stage. Every communication, every advertising had visit Oman and experience Oman, which was a great opportunity for all of us. And I think a lot of people were interested. If you look at our stand, the Omani stand was visited by thousands of people who were just curious about knowing what does this country have as an opportunity and what does it bring to the world. We've had from my side a couple of meetings with different entities, especially for PCOs or associations that are interested to come and see Oman and proceed Oman as an opportunity. We exchange a lot of knowledge, we exchange a lot of contacts, and we're actually going forward with some of these contacts and see how can we bring them to Oman, especially when they're focused on the 2040 vision and they're related to what we're trying to bring to the country. But I think it's a good showcasing for the country. It's good showcasing for SMEs and our capabilities, and it's a good platform. I think any platform that you go outside to meet the world is a good platform too, for the world to see who you are. And Oman has a lot to offer.
Your Excellency, from a sustainable tourism development, Oman, why Oman? What are the different opportunities that we have for investors, be it local, regional, or international? Why should people look at Oman more seriously? And what are the different opportunities? What are we working on as a government and as a sector? If you please can shed some light on that.
Sure. From a sustainability point of view, it's the responsibility that we have not only towards the sector that we're in right now, but even for our future generations. If sustainable practices are not applied in the tourism sector, it will not be long before we see this entire sector losing out the capability of competing, the capability of being able to be aligned with not only Oman's priorities in terms of achieving net zero target by 2050, but even with the region and the rest of the world. Today, some of the largest projects that are currently underway here in Oman, the tourism sector, has to do with sustainability. If I take the Yiti Sustainable City, for example, the idea of applying sustainable practices in developing tourism projects itself reflects how serious sustainability is taken into consideration. Other projects are as well revolving around tourism experiences. It's no longer just building hotels and accommodation, but rather trying to move down the chain to become more and more of value. We do have as well adventure tourism right now as a segment in the tourism sector that has plenty of focus. And perhaps very soon we'll be seeing some of the projects that are going to be revolving around that. If we already take into consideration the first project that was developed in this regard, the zip line up in Khasab,
yes.
Which is considered one of the longest zip line over water in the world.
According to Guinness Book of Records.
Exactly, yes.
Yes. And then from a governmental perspective, talk about permits. I know that the government and specifically the ministry is far advanced when it comes to protecting the environment from a sustainability perspective. It's not as easy, yet it's for a better reason. It's for protecting the environment itself. If you could shed some light also, Your Excellency, of how does the bylaws complement meeting the 2050 targets?
Currently, what happens that all of the tourism projects that are permitted and licensed by the ministry have to adhere to a specific standard of sustainability practices. These are reviewed right now and evaluated, and I personally believe that they are going to be elevated in alignment with our net zero targets, and as well in alignment with our responsibilities towards not jeopardizing the very much reason that Oman is considered an authentic and a diverse tourism destination. So the current practices are, as you've mentioned, are already taken into consideration plenty of these elements. And I believe that the revised set of practices are going to take into consideration even more of these practices, just to make sure that we adhere to this priority of being a sustainable destination.
Excellent. When it comes to MICE, engineer side, especially Oman Convention Exhibition Center, people perceive it as a venue and might not think that sustainability matters, but it does matter in your field, both locally and internationally. If you can explain to the viewers how sustainability plays a role when it comes to the MICE industry, and maybe shed some light on the few initiatives that OCC are leading, and maybe even a pioneer in Oman and in the region.
If I may start with the advantage that we have as a country, and His Excellency have talked about it, and how the government is actually working on protecting also the environment to make it more sustainable. We are actually at a very unique advantage, which is we're still preserving our culture, our environment, and still Oman considered to be more of a protected overall environment. So for a lot of people who now come to appreciate sustainability and appreciate preserving the environment and recycling, and then also protecting overall everything, we can actually put a lot of effort into, we don't have to put a lot of effort actually to showcase that, because Oman is actually protected. And I think it's a unique destination. Now everyone at every associations I've met around the world, they're talking about how can we sustain? How can we sustain what we have? How can we sustain our business? How can we sustain our environment? How can we sustain our growth? And we are in Oman actually doing that for many years, but now we kind of putting a title around it, and we kind of putting now a strategy around it. And having our 2050 zero carbon initiative, and also the 2050 initiative in terms of protecting the environment and sustainability, and then creating more renewable energy, it all works together. At OCC, we have a lot of projects. We've been working on this in the last 5 years. It was part of our pillars, is to how to sustain, how we protect the environment around us, how we become part of the environment rather than just working in silo alone. And we've done a lot of projects related to food reserve in terms of creating more greens around the center. We're also sustainable in terms of a building structure itself. The design of the building is Gold LEED certified. And we're trying to also now uplift that to become also even Platinum LEED certified. We recently have signed a contract with Total Energy to produce over 4.5 megawatts of electricity using solar panels. And that will be probably one of the biggest projects we can claim probably in Oman, in a building solar project. Around the region, probably there's other project, but we're still trying to find our edge with this one. But I think it's focusing on this kind of initiative is important. And as we go, what else can we add to the environment? What else can we do to make the environment around us is protected, since it is part of the overall country initiative, and how we make ourselves unique as an advantage. And how I started the answer by saying we are at a very unique situation. We can't just lose that by just focusing in commercial and not focusing on the environment. And we also noticed that a lot of MICE products can be coming out of this. And when we apply now for a different project or different congresses around the world, the sustainability, protecting environment, all of this is part of the package.
When
and
they
in Oman,
evaluate.
Exactly, how they evaluate those packages. And in Oman, we are always at the top of this. And makes it easier for others to make a decision. Why should they come to Oman and not somewhere else?
And I think one of the biggest events, Engineer Saeed, is about sustainability.
Of course.
Also.
Oman Sustainability Weeks normally comes the end of April, beginning of May. one of the biggest exhibition we have in the country, over 20,000 square meter of an exhibition spaces. I think over 150 companies comes together to connect and to work together. It's operated by a company called Connect here. They're one of our partners who produce a lot of other exhibitions. But this is a unique exhibition, and we see a lot of people come from all over the world just to meet. I think the last Sustainability Week, we've witnessed signing of a lot of contracts in terms of sustainability, and that showcase also that Oman is serious about this subject, and it's actually growing year by year.
Any room for investment there, Engineer Saeed?
Huge.
For local, for international. If you can give some examples, be it a local entrepreneur who's starting or a very well-established organization that is looking to grow, and again, from an external, international perspective, what are the areas that you would advise people to look at from a MICE industry again?
There is huge opportunity. I think there is no single exhibition, even at ITB. 3 out of 10 meetings I've had there was all about sustainability. It was all about how can we bring our product to Oman, how can we bring an exhibition to Oman related to sustainability.
Excellent.
And how we connect the international investors, they are the exhibition organizers, to a local organizers, and how we connect all the dots together. And I think coming to a Sustainability Week will actually prove case for a lot of them. And I invite all of them to come. And I invited personally some of them to come during this period of time for the Sustainability Week to meet the local companies as well, to connect the dots together. But I think even for SME, by just coming to visit the exhibition, looking around solutions, technologies, ideas that actually been floated in the ground, and also attending some of the workshops and conferences that happens during the Sustainability Week, they will perceive a lot of opportunities there. The whole world is now talking about it, and I think every country is having plan towards sustainability. We are leading the region, so how can we take advantage of that?
Fantastic.
I think it's not as well a coincidence that another large event here in Oman taking place alongside these sustainability initiatives is the Green Hydrogen, which is an exhibition and a summit at the same time. And I think the Green Hydrogen Summit, as well as the Oman Sustainability Week, showcases the real application of how important is sustainability to us, and how sustainability could actually play a larger role in not only in the leisure tourism practices, but even in the MICE industry, which is generally, from an economic point of view, of greater impact if you compare it to leisure tourism.
In fact, Your Excellency, we've been always talking about what is an anchor exhibition or an anchor event that can grow in the next few years. And it could become one of those events that hundreds of thousands of people go to. Maybe like similar to ITB, but in sustainability side. So I think one of these events, either the Green Hydrogen or the Sustainability Week, could have been in the future one of those anchor events, and could grow to become something larger in the region. People just fly as a tourism just to come and attend, and then get the learning, and then in the future we'll have the hosted sustainability country. And then there becomes other initiatives that grow as we go.
If I can jump, Your Excellency, to incentives. From an investment perspective, what do we have to offer as a country? And then from a governmental perspective, what are the different schemes, programs that we have ready for investors to look at, and then have them say, yes, I am interested. This looks great. I really want to take advantage of these great incentives. If you can give us a few examples.
Definitely. Some of these incentives are like general investment incentives that Oman enjoys as an investment destination. That includes matters like the ease of incorporating a company without any restrictions in terms of ownership or minimum capitals, the freedom of repatriating capital and the profit with no restrictions as well. And of course, some sectors such as tourism, along other sectors, enjoy tax incentives and custom duty exemptions. But perhaps the additional incentives that we provide as a ministry is support in terms of land, which is available, long-term lease at a very nominal cost. There are as well incentives related to labor and the fact that the ministry, along with its partners, would participate in matters such as upskilling and even reskilling of Omani workforce required for these projects. There are other incentives that as well include linking some investments in, for example, integrated tourism complexes with the matter of or with the right of getting a visa for investors who acquire property in these ITCs. Recently, we have been as well discussing within the ministry and within the sector the need of perhaps introducing even an extra layer of incentives to just make sure that we are able to attract the right type of investments to the right areas in Oman, and not only focus in Muscat. And the fact that we need to distribute some of these investments outside the governorate of Muscat into areas which have always enjoyed being tourism destinations or with plenty of tourism potential, but with little investments either from the local private sector or even from foreign investments.
Is there a priority list, Your Excellency, from your perspective, governmental ministry? What type of investors you're looking at? Is it your regular hotel operator? Is it someone who looks at only building, a complex, or are you more into now looking for specialized operators? You gave the example of adventure tourism, the longest zip line over ocean in the world. Could you shed some light of what type of investors are you looking for? And then areas from a priority perspective. You've mentioned not only Muscat outside. What are the different areas available for investors to look at and say, this is interesting. I will give His Excellency a call and start a conversation.
We extend support to investments anywhere in Oman when it comes to investing in the tourism sector, knowing that tourism can create jobs comparably with other sectors in a more significant way. But if we talk about priorities, I would say that there are areas such as Jabal Akhdar, Jabal Shams, Ras Al Had, the area surrounding what's called Jabal Abyad in between Sharqiya and Muscat, where the largest cave in Oman is situated at Kaf Majlis al-Jinn. We do have Khasab as well, or Msandam generally speaking, Dhafar as well as an area where potentially can attract a lot of investments, and Masira, which has always been regarded as an area which has a limited amount of investments in terms of tourism. Today it's actually been pushed as an area where it enjoys great competitive advantage when it comes to the tourism investments. So all of these areas, I would say, could be considered areas with greater possibility of attracting investments in tourism. But once again, I would like to reassure that investments are welcomed anywhere in Oman as long as it serves the sector. And the type of investments as well would be a mix of investments. So some areas would require accommodation, some areas would require adventure services, some would require eco-tourism related services. So it really depends where these investments are going to be heading to.
Anything you would like to tell us in terms of the pipeline? I know there are many projects coming live really soon. Anything exciting? You've mentioned the sustainable city that's being built as we speak. In Muscat or outside of Muscat, particularly projects that get people excited and get investors also excited.
Yeah, there are a number of projects that are currently in the pipeline, either through government-related investments or even from a private sector perspective. Some of them are in Muscat and around Muscat. So we have prestigious chains that are, very close to actually opening in Muscat, such as the St. Regis and the Mandarin Oriental.
Phenomenal.
We do have large investments which are on the outskirts of Muscat, such as the Yiti Sustainable City. We have the AIDA project as well next to it. We have some in the entertainment sector, such as the Sharq project near Muscat. We have investments outside Muscat in Dhafar, in Salalah specifically, in Khasab, in Ras Al Had as well. Some are planned, like in Masira and in other areas. I think that all of these projects are going to contribute positively towards achieving all of the objectives that we were talking about, either from a sustainability point of view or creating this diversity in terms of the mix of products that Oman can offer, and most importantly, create jobs for young Omani boys and girls who aspire to become part of the tourism sector.
If we continue with you, Engineer Saeed, can MICE influence investment, more particularly Oman Convention and Exhibition Center? How can you support what the ministry is doing from a venue perspective? I know you host a lot of business opportunity events, and there is a lot of opportunities out there. If you could tell us also the impact of the MICE industry, and more particularly if you can give examples of successful events that you've helped host in Oman.
Building a center like this is already means that we want investment to come to the country. I think that is a proof, evidence, how serious we are about bringing investment. This center built over 180 million Omani Riyal, over a land of 500,000 square meter, over rentable spaces of over 100,000 square meter. And we're close to the airport, close to a lot of hospitality, hotels. It tells you that we really means to bring business together. And I think OCEC, or Oman Convention Exhibition Center, is a hub that brings all the businesses together, showcasing your projects, showcasing what is happening in the pipelines, connecting the investors to the real estate owners, to the service providers, all in one spot. We host over 3 different projects in OCEC on an annual basis related to real estate, hospitality, investments, that brings all those parties together. Just recently, we hosted the book fair, though it's a book fair and is related to culture and readings and heritage and everything, but it also has an element of investment as well. We had Sultan Haytham City was presented heavily there. It was very strongly there. We had showcasing of the buildings. People were coming, asking a lot of questions, and a lot of things were connecting also investors who are looking for different areas. OCEC is a platform. When economy is growing, in any countries, when economy is growing and there is a need to showcase all of this, exhibition center becomes very active because it has that space available and it's allow people to connect in a safe, protected, relaxed environment where businesses can exchange all together. In the past few years, MICE industry and tourism in general have attracted over 1.9 million investment around Oman. But it's connected to some of the project that's happening now in Oman, connected to the businesses that the MICE bringing. So there's a lot of happening, and that is still a fraction of what is the international world in terms of attracting tourism, or even specifically about MICE. I think we are at the edge of seeing something more happening. And with the announcement of the project that the ministry have announced, and then with the announcement of the pipelines, there's more going to come. Nearby countries, when they talk about the new airports and the new roads, that also bring investment. Similarly, when we announce projects, that also bring in more people coming from outside. We've been receiving also visitors who comes from around the world, and they're saying, we have noticed the growth that's happening in Oman. We want to be pioneers and we want to come first. And then talking about them is also a key. It's not just to do them and then keep them for ourselves. No, we need to have every platform for us to speak about them, speak about this project, because people outside are looking for investment. Oman and the center is a good place for bringing people together.
And then historically, Engineer Saeed, the business traveler usually spends more than your regular leisure traveler. Is that something that you guys working on? How can you increase those numbers? Do they come back? Is that a fact?
studies showed us that actually, and that study is also been done by the ministry as well, that every international visitor who specifically come for MICE spend over 2.7 times more than the regular leisure tourism, which means we're talking about a tourist who is willing to spend. One is to spend for business class ticket, 5-star hotel, high-end restaurants, but also transportations and many other factors. And a lot of these visitors normally don't just come for a MICE event or a conference or an exhibition. They end up staying 1 day extra, 1 day later, and then they go and come back and bring their families because they realize this place is safe, this place is interesting, exciting. There's more to explore about Oman. So we've seen that and witnessed it multiple times actually with a lot of other events. So even if we talk about just the niche of what tourism we wanted to bring, the MICE industry can give you that niche. If you're looking for someone who's appreciating sustainability, then you will bring the sustainability event. If you want to look for someone who's looking into oil and gas or looking at culture or looking at heritage, Oman has that files also available. And every time you want to highlight one of those, bring in an event related to that. And then you see people coming from all over the world and they will appreciate what you have.
Fantastic. Your Excellency, from a unique selling point, culture and heritage is the center stage when it comes to tourism in Oman. What's your opinion on how should we preserve our culture and heritage, but at the same time take advantage of it from a destination and showcase this beautiful culture, beautiful heritage to our visitors, and maybe use it also as a hook for investors?
It's in the center of everything we do. In Berlin, we were talking about a product that was diverse but authentic. And today we do have plenty of examples of how we are utilizing our cultural heritage in creating the tourism product that we have. So, for example, the number of heritage sites in Oman that are being preserved by the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism are now offered to companies, and as a matter of fact, these are local community companies to be able to run it and preserve it and showcase what this cultural heritage looks like to visitors and guests. One of these examples would be the Nazwa Fort, the Jabreen Fort, and even the Matrah Fort here in Muscat. And all of these were, up until very recently, just forts that were preserved and kept over there without the engagement of the local community as an operator. Today we have more than 20 or even more of these sites that are managed by companies from the local communities that are able to showcase it in a very interesting and exciting way. The other element as well has to do with neighborhoods or villages that were for a very, very long period of time empty and abandoned, and then companies from the communities themselves took the chance of reintroducing these villages into heritage inns and complemented with restaurants and other sites, and in a very engaging manner. So you'd have the entire family engaged in providing services to the tourists. And today we have one or even more than one example that are very well known even in Berlin, like Al-Aqr, Al-Nizwa, and Misfat Al-Abreen, and Al-Hamra. This is from a heritage perspective. From a cultural heritage perspective, the ministry is working on one of its unique projects, the Oman Botanic Gardens, which is expected to be opened very soon. And this is the treasure chest of how biodiverse the country is. And it's a unique project. It's one of its kind in this entire region. And it's going to be adding significantly to the tourism mix and product in the country.
Fantastic. Engineer Said, from, again, a unique selling point, does culture and heritage matter when it comes to MICE? being authentic, does that impact your business? There is a certain message that you want to get out, tell the rest of the world when it comes to culture, heritage. How is this impacting MICE? And why should they look at this unique selling point when thinking about Oman?
It's a strong element, actually, because when we do a pack and we apply for different conferences and exhibitions around the world, and we ask them to come to Oman as a destination for their events, why would you trust moving your event from another country to this country? And we talk about culture, heritage, authenticity, and sustainability. All those are very important elements. But culture and heritage is very important element because visitors who come to this event want to see something unique. They want to experience the Middle East, reality of Middle East. They want to see people. They want to talk. They want to know history. They want to interact and engage with the community and society. And Oman offers all of that. I think all the sites that mentioned by His Excellency is a fantastic site for us to promote for Oman when we put in our pack. Some of these sites could host reception, could host discussion, workshops. And then imagine doing the workshop inside the botanical garden and surrounded with the Kharif Salala, which probably in the middle of the summer. And imagine that doing all of this in a fort that have hundreds of years of history, and the visitors are sitting inside discussing sustainability of sustaining not just the culture and environment, but also history of Oman. So I think it's a very strong product, and we need to know how to monetize it as we go, how we engage the local society with it, because the people who comes from outside want to engage with the local society, people from the village. And the examples that was mentioned in Al-Uqar and Nazwa and Muswat Al-Abreen, it's a very good examples. People look for those unique products when they come here. And we speak about, when we speak about MICE, we speak about business people who wants to invest and look at potentials like this. Why not taking this experience to other countries as well? So Oman could be the learning platforms for those people to see how we're engaging the local societies, how we're engaging ICV in every product we have. So I think this is a very unique product, and for sure we highlight it all the time. Always we tell our investors who comes from outside and our event organizers, when you bring your event to Oman, we don't just guarantee you to have a unique experience, to experience the culture and heritage and Oman in general, but you will also get more people coming to your event, because people will know Oman is an authentic, unique place, a place for them that is in the list, but this time they will make a decision to come.
And adding to that, I believe the culinary plays a big role.
Yeah.
The ministry launched last year the Culinary Arts Center. And the idea was following, documenting all of the, culinary culture of Oman, and how did it start? Where did it originate from? What are the ingredients that are usually made? Or these dishes made of. And we were able to showcase for the very first time in ITB Oman's culinary arts to the world, and linking it to the product that we promise tourists to see here in Oman, not only in an artificial way, but actually in a very authentic manner. So we had workshops where we had young Omani men and women talking about their experiences when it comes to running a restaurant, or we had even a local Omani coffee shop adjacent to the pavilion, serving coffee with some very great authentic Omani ingredients like rosewater, honey, and dates. And that was the unique encapsulation of how do we package our heritage, our cultural heritage, and present it to the rest of the world in a way that not only brings in more tourists, but actually creates an investment opportunity or a business opportunity to a young, small and medium-sized company in Oman, and can open doors even for them to the rest of the world.
True.
I believe we will see a time where this would be actually exported to not only the region, but even to the world, from the demand that I saw over coffee presented to guests in ITB in Berlin.
Some of the ideas there, it looks like it's given and we have them, and then we get used to them. But for an international visitors, this is a very unique product.
True.
We know of, to add to all of that, we know of people who coming just for fishing, yeah? Specifically for a certain type of fishing. And we discussed that with you, Shabib, in the past. And then people who comes from the region just to experience fishing in Oman. And that is something that is given for us, but it's actually a very unique product. And give to that also culinary or a different type of food, or even the khanjar, Omani khanjar, which now been recorded as an Omani art and Omani culture. All of this is actually a unique product for people who appreciate simple things. For us, it looks very simple. For others, it's huge.
Seems endless opportunities, alhamdulillah. Would you like both to close with any remarks, any message you want to get out before we wrap up?
I believe the tourism sector is not only diverse and authentic, but has huge opportunities for us to be able to align all of the objectives we're trying to achieve under Vision 2040, whether they are to create business opportunities for large corporates, coming from overseas looking for these significant investment opportunities, or even for local companies, be it SMEs that might grow one day into a unicorn, or a mid-sized company in Oman willing to venture into this exciting sector. But as well, increasing the number of tourists that fly into the country and experience what we have to offer, all the way through preserving our culture and heritage, such as putting the culinary into the track of presenting what we have to offer, preserving our biodiversity in projects like the Oman Botanic Gardens, elevating the standard of sustainability or sustainability practices that are applied either in protecting preserved sites or while constructing projects in different areas in the country. These projects could be as simple as a lodge up in Jebel Shams where people could just stargaze, or it could be an integrated tourism complex that includes many, many factors. So for that, I believe that tourism presents a great amount of opportunities for all stakeholders involved in order to achieve these objectives.
Excellent. Engineer Said.
Well, tourism is, I think if you look at the checklist, what makes a destination a stronger, attractive destination? I think in Oman we have probably have every checkpoint on that list. But also at the same time, we need to make sure we don't completely open it up, because we try and still to protect what we have in a way that is still make it unique, more preserved, but also have people who appreciate what we have and not just mix everything together. It's very important, because then we lose an edge of our tourism. But tourism can make every household have a business and every household have a job if they know how to put it all together. And I think when we focus more from tourism to the MICE, I think we are into something that could grow big, and we can also be very specific. And we can also bring the people who would like to have here in the country based on the strategy that we're trying to achieve for the future. So it's a very specific when we talk about the MICE. And I think we have the right product in place, we have the right checklist, and we have the right strategy in place. How can we take it all together and monetize it in a way that it grows strongly, but also steadily, with protecting what we have?
Excellent. Thank you both. It's been an absolute joy talking to you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for listening to Tejarah Talks with me, Shabib Al Maamari. If you enjoyed today's episode, then head over to wherever you listen to podcasts to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. That would be much appreciated. Until next time, stay curious.
Tejarah Talks.